First of all, hallelujah!
It is 4th and 26. McNabb is back. He's looking. He is firing, and it is caught by Freddie Mitchell.
And Pizarczyk fumbles the football. It's picked up by Herman Edwards. 15, 10, 5, touchdown Eagles. I don't believe it. I don't believe it.
Jackson takes it at the 35. Picks it up. Looks for running room. He's at the 40. He's at the 45. Midfield. Oh! He's going to go! Touchdown back! I don't care if he's trying. He's running around. And he's in the end zone. And there's no time. And the Eagles win. Brady back again. He steps up his head and falls forward. And he fumbles the football and the Eagles have it. And it's recovered. The Philadelphia Eagles are Super Bowl champions. Eagles fans everywhere, this is for you.
You love the Philadelphia Eagles. Let me get a hell yeah!
E-A-G-L-E-S, Eagles!
What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Sundays for the Birds, a proud production of Old City Sports Network. While we're talking Old City Sports Network, don't forget to check out all the other wonderful shows and awesome articles, all readily available at your disposal, oldcitysports.com. Of course, I'm the mayor, John Street, joined by my two wonderful co-hosts, one Jake Long and one Kyle, not so sharp. Boys, it's been a little while since we did a show, but how we doing today? Jake, we'll start with you.
Good. Very tired. We got a new puppy on Thanksgiving Day. Another Akita named Maxie, of course, after Tyrese Maxey. So got another pup around the house, waking us up at every hour of the night to go to the bathroom, but love the little guy. Just more hair to clean, more food to feed. It's like having another kid, but you gotta love him.
Yeah, I know you were saying your wife talked you into that while you guys were drinking.
Yep.
So that's pretty interesting.
Night before Thanksgiving, having a good time, thankful for everything, and then you get thrown on the, why don't we get a puppy, look at it? I said, all right, call him. Called him. He's available. Can we pick him up tomorrow? Yeah. 10 a.m. There we are. Get a new dog. Thanksgiving morning.
Nice little photo shoot, too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, great pictures. All right, Kyle, how you doing, brother?
I'm good. Same old. Working, gambling.
Yeah,
I just want to say,
generate.
Yeah. I just want to say nothing screams more Philly fan than naming your pet after a sports player for Philly. I mean, that's so on brand.
I got a cat named Carson that we had during this year. Carson should have been MVP.
Sorry to hear that.
Carson. He's cool as shit, unlike Carson Wentz. And our other key name is a girl named Harper, after Bryce Harper. And then we got another Akita named Maxie.
Wait. How many pets do you have?
5 total. 3 dogs and 2 cats.
Goodness. The kids aren't enough?
I just have 1 kid.
Are you saying kids are the same as pets, Kyle?
No, I don't. Don't put words in my mouth.
Oh, animals.
Did not say that.
Oh man! So if you guys haven't noticed, we haven't done a show in a little while. I was away on vacation, as was Jake. We were going to try and get to you guys last Thursday, but was not in the cards. But we're back here. We're ready to talk some birds. With that being said, let's go ahead and roll the recap from this week's game against the Tennessee Titans.
Sundays for the Birds, Week 13 recap, Eagles, Titans. On the opening drive here, Hurts goes deep down the middle of the field to Devontae Smith for the 34-yard score. 7-0 Birds. Titans score late in the first, and he's dead. That's it for the Titans offense pretty much today, as they only muster a field goal the rest of the game. 7-7 game early in the second. Hurts goes down the sideline to a wide open A.J. Brown for the 40-yard touchdown. How was he so wide open? Let's see. Oh wow, runs right over the defender who does the good old, now I'm hurt because I got burnt injury. What a play, A.J. Brown. Just before half, Hurts gets the sweep, takes it outside, and beats the defenders to the pylon. It's 21-10 now, early in the third, and Hurts goes deep again down the sideline, and who else but A.J. Brown snatched the ball like a grown man, taking a toy away from his child. Eagles have a commanding lead, 28-10. Let's polish it off with a Sanders 3-yard touchdown run. Right up the gut, what we do best, pounding the rock. Eagles take this one on a blowout win and demolish the Titans 35-10. Your Philadelphia Eagles are 11-1. Go Birds!
Well, there it is, 35-10. Your score this past Sunday, Eagles Titans. Let's go ahead around the horn. We'll talk about a couple of things that stood out to us. I know for one, I've been waiting for, a legit blowout game, one where you just feel like you're in command the whole way through. And, for the first time against a good team, like we had a pretty decent blowout against the Steelers, but for the first time against a good team, the Eagles just showed why they're everyone's daddy in the NFL this year, why they're the best team in the league. And they may have even gotten a GM fired. Of course, if you guys hadn't heard, the Titans fired their GM, I believe it was Monday morning. I heard there was also a bunch of Eagles fans that found out where the owner's suite was, and they were definitely heckling the Titans.
Give them the Philly salute.
Oh yeah. But yeah, I think it's just that blowout win that we've all been looking for, and we finally got it. Huge game from A.J. Brown. Definitely a revenge game, but I don't even know if I want to call it a revenge game because he's been doing it all season. Glad to see he finally held on to the rock. Back-to-back fumbles 2 weeks prior. A little scary there, but he finally held on to the rock. Just another big game by A.J. Brown. Kyle, what stood out to you in this win?
Yeah, I think this was definitely their best win of the season. Like you said, this is probably the best team they beat by a decent margin. So on offense, right, really sloppy. They played great overall, but a lot of penalties.
Yep.
In particular by the offensive line. We always give them their props how great they were, but they were really sloppy this week. And then, Jalen Hurts, right? I know, put out a little Twitter thing saying, did he solidify his spot at the MVP or did it make him the front runner? Absolutely. It's his award to lose now. But I think from how they played as a whole, right? I think everybody's going to, talk about A.J. Brown going off, Devontae Smith. I think something that I just kind of noticed watching the game was I felt like for the first time this year, they really included the pass or the running backs in the pass game, whether it be Miles Sanders, Gainwell, whatever. And I think
something we called for 2 weeks ago.
Just in the checkdowns when he needed to.
I think that's really good. They threw the ball a lot. Obviously the Titans are a terrible secondary, better versus the run. But I think that was something that I really like to see was the running backs involved in the passing game.
Absolutely. Timmy H checking in over on Facebook says happy holidays. And of course, from everybody here at Sundays for the Birds, happy holidays to you and yours. Jake, what stood out to you here?
The fact that it was a complete domination at every side of the ball. Special teams even showed up.
Brent Covey.
I don't know the kid, Elias or Ellis something. I think he's like number 33, something like that. But he was just flying down the field, hitting people, smacking their turners. Covey, finding holes, people blocking. So we can get special teams like that. We're going to be really hard to beat if all sides of the ball are clicking like it was. And then, how can you not talk about the defense? Everyone talked about, Derrick Henry's going to fucking run for the record against you guys. 11 carries, 30 yards, 2.7 yards a carry. And the biggest thing I seen was our 2-star corners were in there tackling Derrick Henry, not afraid to get their nose dirty. And our boy, we talk about it all the time, the Kobe Dean, led the team in tackles, and he didn't get in the game till like the end of the second quarter. He had like 6.5.
And the first play that he was in on, he made himself known. He made his presence felt.
Yeah, he's just a gamer. Like he's not going to have your wow numbers at combines or things like that, or at practice. But he he plays the game faster when he's actually playing it. It's just a typical gamer, game speed. And if he can take off, the defense can be scary if it's not already scary. That defensive line, I watched the condensed game again like I always do, and every play, that rotation is deadly at defensive line. They were just blowing offensive linemen off the ball. They're either on their backs or in Ryan Tannehill's face, or Derrick Henry's bouncing off them. He's pretty much breaking a tackle of his own offensive lineman before one of our defenders even get their hands on him. And that's what I think helped bottom up for the linebackers and the corners. It just was awesome. I mean, everyone knows about Jalen Hurts and A.J. Brown. Yeah. Everyone's already talked about that, but the defense needs their props.
Absolutely. Fletcher Cox looks like he's even found the fountain of youth a little bit. He's definitely rejuvenated. I think the rotation definitely helps with that. The fresh legs.
Sweat.
He's definitely more of a pass rusher. So I think you get Cox in there on those passing downs, and you have those big body guys like Sue, Joseph, and Davis in there on the early downs when a guy like King Henry is going to try and run it down your throat. And you mentioned it, Jake. 2.7 yards a carry for King Henry, just 30 yards. I mean, that's absolutely insane. Did wreck my same game parlay. I did have him scoring a rushing touchdown, but what are you going to do? I'll take the win. Absolutely. Oh, yeah. Our buddy Tim checking in on Facebook again wants to know, do you think we're good enough to win the Super Bowl? If we get there, I think we have what it takes. I think depending on who you play, at this point, it's more than likely the Kansas City Chiefs or the Buffalo Bills. I think you have enough weapons to hang with these guys. It's just any given Sunday, you never know. But we got a long road to get there first. You got a slew of games left here in the regular season, plus you got the playoffs. Right now, my biggest concern is locking down the 1 seed, getting that home field advantage, and the bye. But
to answer his question easily, it's yes, we are good enough. It's just to win the Super Bowl, it's tough. You need a lot of things to go your way.
Go right.
So far, knock on wood, I think by playoff time, we'll have most of our guys back, barring any other big injuries. Goddard should be back. Vontae Maddox was activated this week, so that'll be huge. Jordan Davis already got some reps last week. So and Dallas Goedert's absence, Stoll didn't look too bad blocking, had a couple nice catches down the middle. Yep. So he's a serviceable tight end, and I think anybody can fill in when you have two studs on the outside of you.
Calcaterra even had a couple of big completions also.
It's nice to see that Hurts is trusting those guys.
Yeah, absolutely.
I can see Stoll because he's worked with them already, but a rookie, I think he was injured for a lot of training camp too, so seeing them have confidence in these guys is really good. I love the team all together. I think they're good enough. I think the locker room's so close together. I mean, the Christmas album so far, the 2 songs that they dropped are just fucking complete fire.
They're sold out, by the way.
Oh yeah, they'll be dropping.
You can't get the album.
Tomorrow. Well, you can get it on. You can't get the actual record they're selling, but I can get it on iTunes and shit. And they'll be dropping another song tomorrow, so I'll be looking forward to that on my driving to work.
Absolutely. Real quick, while we're talking the Christmas album, Lane Johnson, my man's got some fucking pipes. He hasn't given up a sack in 2 fucking seasons, and he's got the pipes.
He should start singing Christmas songs in the guy's ears when he's fucking manhandling him to the ground.
Absolutely.
Let me ask you this, the guys this. Is there anything from the game that was a negative? Anything that, worried you, got to work on?
False starts, but you already mentioned
I was going to say besides the offensive line play. I think that was
just sloppy. Too many penalties. Clean that up.
But the offensive line, I blame that on the broadcaster jinx. They had Aaron Andrews interview the guys about the Christmas album. They ran a special before. They talked about it. All broadcast. I mean, every time they false start, they must be thinking about the Christmas album. Like, yeah, I am too. I'm listening to it while I'm watching the game, but shut the fuck up. They're just jumping off sides. It happens. They'll work on it.
I'm not worried about the offensive line. I mean, they're going to correct themselves.
Absolutely. They've shown the ability to correct themselves time and time again. And I will continue to sing the praises of Jeff Stoutland. If there's ever an offensive line coach that deserves candidacy for a head coaching gig, he's the guy. But he'll get that corrected. He leads a great offensive line room there. So, again, we'll get this corrected.
No doubt.
Absolutely. Anything else on the Titans game, guys, before we move on?
If I had one worry, it would be the Quez Watkins injury. Because after Watkins and Pascal, I mean, I like Pascal. I think he's a good third. But you lose that speed of Watkins, and your next receiver is Britton Covey, which is a problem. So we got to stay healthy at the wide receiver position if Watkins is down. That's why they're looking at OBJ, but I think the Cowboys signed him if he was going to play. And if they're not signing him, then I don't think anyone's going to sign him.
I was about to bring up the OBJ thing. So I don't know if it's so much that the Cowboys aren't going to sign him or if it's they're holding out until it's closer to when he's going to play. I mean, do you really want to hold up a roster spot on a guy that's 3-4 weeks out from playing?
My thing is, though, you can probably put him on IR and still
You could, but then you still have guaranteed money that you have to pay him as opposed to the prorated.
He's getting the playbook, stuff like that. And then, boom, if he's ready to go, if an injury does happen, you have him on your roster ready to go playoff time.
That makes sense. Now, you brought up the Odell thing, and there was a report this morning linking him to the Eagles. I think it's more of an agent report trying to drum up the Cowboys, trying to get them more interested after that visit. I don't see him going back to the Giants. I think that's a little far-fetched. But I definitely see the Cowboys as a player. I think the Eagles could be a player. My question to you guys is, do you want him?
No. I don't think he's worth it. I mean, assuming Watkins, comes back, I don't.
Well, worth what? Because if it's veteran minimum,
he thinks
he's going to get a 2-year deal. He's going to get a 2-year deal.
I think the Quez Watkins injury, I didn't see how long he was out for, but I think once Goddard comes back, I think that's not as big an issue because Watkins his escalation and involvement in the offense has gone up since Goddard, was out. When Goddard was healthy, he was really an afterthought. He wasn't involved at all, really. So I think once Goddard comes back, I don't think losing Watkins is as huge of a deal.
Yeah, I just worry about losing one of the other two. We lose one of those two, our chances are probably half of doing anything in the playoffs. That's the only thing that worries me. I don't know if I would sign Odell because I mean I think he's more humbled now, but if the Cowboys are worried about his ACL injury and they're saying he's not going to be ready, I mean a lot of times guys come back from those injuries and they aren't themselves until like halfway through the season. So even if he is, given the go-ahead to play, what's his speed going to be like? What's his route running going to be like? Is he going to be as explosive? Probably not those first 3 games. So, I'm sure there's another veteran receiver or someone that you can look at. I haven't looked at a list or anything, but I'm sure there's someone out there that's game ready if a big injury didn't happen. Hopefully not. But
right.
There's
and you still got some practice squad guys, and I'm sure Greg Ward's still out there to be had somewhere, and he's a guy that knows the playbook. And I tend to agree with you guys. I don't necessarily think that we should bring him in either. But just to play devil's advocate, I mean, did anybody think the Rams needed to bring him in last year either until all of a sudden Robert Woods is banged up?
Yeah, and they signed him that week before Robert Woods got hurt. So I mean,
he's a luxury until somebody gets hurt, and then he's in a.
He also wasn't coming off a huge injury, so that's a little more.
I get it
for them to do it.
Makes sense. Just something to think about. Like I said, I'm with you guys. I'm not necessarily an advocate. I'm not saying that we absolutely have to go get him. Now, I have full trust in Howie Roseman. You guys have heard me this season. I'll continue to say it. It's Howie Roseman in the Chamber of Champions until he proves me otherwise. If he thinks it's the best move for the team, then you know what? I'm hook, line, and sinker. I'm all in on Odell if Howie decides that that's the best route for the team.
One move is looking really bad now.
What's that?
One move is looking really bad right now. I know it's only a 4th rounder, but Robert Quinn has been absolute dog shit, and he's on the IR. So I don't even think he's going to make the playoff roster,
Ooh,
even if he's healthy.
maybe a hot take right there.
I really don't think he will.
We'll have to see it, and especially if Sweaty keeps playing the way that he has been. And real quick, let me just shed some light on Josh Sweat, because he's really starting to earn that contract. Last year they paid him early, and everybody's questioning, was it the right move? Has he earned it yet? Where's the production? Why are we paying him? And you know what? They knew what they had in him. And he's starting to show now why he got paid what he got paid last year. And you know what? The back half of that contract, if he continues to play at this rate and progress, the back half of that contract is going to be a bargain. You got in on the bottom floor. You paid the guy early, and that's what some of the best teams do. They take these risks and they go out and they pay these guys early, projecting what they're going to be, and it turns out to be a bargain. As you move further down the contract and the salary cap goes up, and all of a sudden average salary at the position goes up. So I'm all in on Josh Sweat. I think he's continuing to progress, and he just looks dominant out there.
A quick note on Josh Sweat. I think he's always showed the flashes of talent here or there. I think the biggest thing is how he's being used. A lot in the past he's been in a 3-point stance. He's standing up a lot more. I think that's really affected his game and helped him a lot.
I can see that. It's definitely a lot easier to get off and start hand fighting. He's a guy that really utilizes that swim move and that hand-to-hand combat to get to the quarterback, as well as his speed. And coming out of a 3-point stance, it's a lot harder to fire off and utilize your speed and get that hand-to-hand combat going. So that makes some sense, Kyle. That's a good point by you.
I'm looking at some free agent wide receivers that are still available. What the hell happened to Will Fuller?
Dude can't stay healthy to save his life.
And he was suspended for PEDs.
Or stay off PEDs, I was going to say.
He hasn't played in a while. That might not be a bad look to bring in. And he's a speedster.
Yeah. He'll hurt his finger and be out for 2 years. I mean, you can't.
I don't know. I mean, he has played on some pretty shitty teams, so maybe he'll be motivated to.
He's talented. Don't get me wrong, but he's
only 28.
He ain't worth it, dude. He's
also another solid guy.
Ain't worth what though? I mean, like I'll say it again: vet minimum.
Vet minimum.
Vet minimum. Bring the guy in. Maybe you bring him in just to cover an injury. Yep. Bring him in, let Quez get healthy, and then when Quez is back, you cut him.
It is telling that Jake looked at free agent wide receivers, and the first guy he picked up was a Notre Dame guy. I don't know if there's any bias there, but
I love Will Fuller. But I also see Cole Beasley be a little slot guy. Or
Cole Beasley.
I'm good.
Take a swing on Antonio Brown as long as he's not in Florida. He's won it down there.
Antonio Brown might be the worst guy you could possibly sign.
Yeah, that guy's a lunatic.
Oh my god. You guys got anything else on the state of the team before we throw it over to previewing next week?
Do dog of the week?
That's right. We do got dog of the week still. Thanks for reminding me. I've had a couple of these already. My bad. All right, guys. Dog of the week. And Dog of the Week, brought to you by the only 2 craft breweries I trust when it comes to my inebriation and celebration. That, of course, is Neshaminy Creek Brewing Company, right in the heart of Croydon, Pennsylvania, 909 Ray Avenue. Check out Neshaminy Creek Brewing Company if you're in the area, Lower Bucks County. If you're out on the brewery tour, make sure you check out Neshaminy Creek. It is an absolute must-see, must-experience, must-taste. And certainly, if you're out in Delco, check out Sterling Pig. That's sterlingpig.com. Sterling Pig Brewing Company. Make sure you let both wonderful breweries know that Old City Sports Network and Sundays for the Birds sent you. Dog of the Week, boys. There's a couple of guys we can name here. I think there's only one real correct choice. I'll let you guys go first, and then I'll throw an honorable mention because I'm pretty sure we're all going the same way here on Dog of the Week. But Kyle, we'll start with you. Throw a name out.
So I'm going to go with two. I'm going to pick the obvious one, Jalen Hurts. I think this was clearly his best game as a passer that I've seen. I mean, he's had good games before, but just, he didn't really run at all for the most part. I mean, just as a pure passer, I think it was his best game. So I'm going to nominate him for Dog of the Week. But then just to be a little contrarian, I think I'm going to pick Devontae Smith for a little another nominee. He really started the passing attack. I know the Titans corner got injured and, he was out, but they really opened it up with him. And then I wonder if maybe, that then freed up A.J. Brown. Because, I mean, everybody knows it's his old team. Maybe the defense was focused on him. I don't really know, but he really started it. He went over 100 yards for a second time this year. So I'll give him a nominee, but it's definitely Jalen Hurts for my main pick.
I like it. Jake, who you got?
I'm going with the little pit bull and the Kobe Dean coming in.
Okay, show my guy some love.
Spot. He looks.
Hold on.
He looks.
When the fuck did Nakobe become your guy?
Whoa.
Yeah, he was arguing to let him play.
I wanted to take him in the first round.
I've been arguing to play with him all year. I've always been a proponent of him as a player. I was just a proponent of against drafting him with a top 20 pick. Third round pick, he's a steal. Second round pick, he would have been great too. Great player, just not as a top 20 pick. But he's always been my guy. So carry on.
And I mean, didn't come into the game, didn't start, didn't come in until I think the end of the second quarter. 6 tackles, 1 tackle for a loss against one of the best running backs to ever play the game. And I mean, he just looks so tiny out there, but like I said, he has it. He's crazy. That's what he had to be as linebacker. My quote in my high school yearbook was from Bo Jackson: "Football is easy if you're crazy as hell." And that's what Nakobe Dean is. He's just a missile out there. He's flying around. But I do want to give a special honorable mention to Christian Ellis, special teamer. They brought him up this week, and he looked like he got that special team so juiced up. I mean, 5 tackles and your special teamer, that's pretty fucking good. And then one of them was a big pop, too. I mean, he just destroyed the returner.
I like it. No, it was definitely a great game by Nakobe. I mean, like I said before, he definitely showed his nose for the ball and showed that he's a gamer. Like I said, he made an impact on the first play that he was involved in. So, couple of great picks. I was expecting you guys to go with the obvious ones. I mean, obviously, Kyle, you named one of them. I'm surprised this guy's still on the board. I got to go A.J. Brown. I mean, it's another quality game by him, and maybe we're overlooking it because it's just another excellent game by AJ. But there is no funner experience, and funner's probably not a word. Actually, I don't think it's a word. But you know what? There's no better experience watching football than when your team has a number 1 wide receiver, a guy that you trust to just go out and grab the ball and do what he's got to do. And we have that guy. We have that guy in A.J. Brown. And Devontae is really starting to come into his own. You mentioned Kyle, he went over 100 yards for the second time this season. Another great game. Started off the scoring with us.
20 yards per catch.
That
game against Titans.
Right. And you even with Devontae, I mean, you roll it back to that first Washington game, and you watched him win a bunch of those 50-50 balls. And, I think he's learning a little bit from AJ in that respect also. But there's nothing better than watching football when you have a number 1 wide receiver. And I feel that we have that in AJ Brown. Now, I got to say, you guys know, there's no bigger Jalen Hurts guy than me. I mean, come on.
Yeah, if I had to go offense, I would go Jalen Hurts for Dog of the Week. I mean, he had all day to throw, but I think that's the defense honoring his ability to run. They were so scared to rush upfield. I mean, I've never seen a pocket so big. He was just sitting there picking them apart. And that's the thing that you want to see when they're only rushing 4 and you have the time and you're still finding your guys and throwing it on time in the perfect spots. I mean, 29 and 39 is really fucking good. So right now, he's a dog of the week.
400 yards, too.
He's the MVP of the season. If he goes out, wins these next couple of games, and then rolls the Cowboys, that's the game that's going to decide if he's MVP.
And by the way, even with them respecting his legs, he still found a way to hurt them. Still got in the end zone with his legs. I mean, 29 total touchdowns on the season, only 3 interceptions. He's got 5 fumbles, but he's lost none of them. He continues to show his high football IQ. And I mean, you said it. He's leading the clubhouse for MVP. I could give a fuck what the sports books say. They all still have Mahomes favored it. And honestly, I think that's just – oh, yeah. Yeah, last I checked, like this morning, like I said, I laid down that little parlay, and I'll touch on that when we get to the gambling segment. But this morning, Hurts was plus 150, and Mahomes was, I think, plus 125.
Oof.
They still have Mahomes as the favorite, and I think it's just for the name, honestly, if nothing else.
I mean, he is a stud, so.
No, he is. But, I mean, Hurts has got to be the MVP this year.
Yeah, I think he is.
Yeah, and again, he's taking care of the football. 3 total turnovers. Like I said, he's got 5 fumbles on the year. A couple of those are bad snaps by my boy Jason Kelsey. Got to clean that up. But he hasn't lost any of those fumbles either. 3 interceptions.
I think 2 of those picks came in the Washington game, too, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep.
So, I mean, he's definitely done a good job of holding on to the ball for the most part.
Yeah, and
he continues to show his ability as a franchise quarterback.
That's going to happen as a quarterback.
And, 11-1. So, yeah. Jalen Hurts for MVP. I'm not a part of the Associated Press yet, but if I was, he's got my vote. Just saying. All right, you guys ready to throw it over? Not so sharp picks of the week.
Let's do it.
Here comes the money.
Here we go. Money talk.
Here comes the money. Money, money, money.
Dollar.
Now, picks of the week brought to you by our friends at Righteous Felon. That's Righteous Felon Beef Jerky. Use that promo code OCSN for 15% off your entire order of the best craft beef jerky money can buy. Norse Beards, that's Norse, Norse, beards.com. Use that promo code OCS, 25% off your entire order from our friends at Norse Beards. And last but certainly not least, our friends over at Fanatics. We're all sports fanatics. We're all huge Philly sports fans. And what better way to show your support than with some official gear? So make sure you check out our friends at Fanatics. Use our link down in the description of this episode. And go to Fanatics for everything official. We got the holidays coming up here. Christmas, Kwanzaa, Hanukkah, whatever you celebrate, you need to buy somebody something. And why not buy them something official from the home of everything official, Fanatics. All right, not so sharp picks of the week. I'd be remiss if I didn't go to you, Kyle. Not so sharp. Lead us off. Show us the money.
All right, so for the money, tonight I got a little Thursday same game parlay as I usually bring you. It's 3 legs, little bankroll manager, plus 120 are the odds. We got Josh Jacobs, 60 rushing yards, hit it in all but 2 games this year. We got Van Jefferson, 25 plus receiving yards. He's hit it in 3 straight games. And then we got Cam Akers, 25 plus rush yards. He's hit it in 3 of his last 4 games. All very achievable, plus 120. I put a little $150 on it. It pays you out like $180-something profit. Nice little bankroll builder. I've been reevaluating the strategy lately. I've been shooting for the 2 long odds ones. I've been trying to chase the big payouts. So I'm going to start sticking to some lower odds, try to build the bankroll back up a little bit.
All right. I like it. Jake, what do you got for us here?
I just went with a Sunday 4-leg parlay. For some reason, the Vikings are plus 108 against the Lions. I'm guessing that's because it's in Detroit. But, I mean, The Vikings aren't getting any respect. I mean, I know they won. They're 9-0 in one-score games, so that's eventually that luck's gonna run out. It's not,
Yeah,
you can't
variance.
obtain that for the whole season. And then Pittsburgh with the Ravens backup quarterback, I got them -1.5 over the Ravens. I mean, TJ Watt just makes that team completely different. TJ Watt should have been the MVP last year, and I hate the Steelers.
At least get
But
consideration.
that guy is a monster. When he plays, they have a chance to win, and they're showing it right now because all of a sudden they're 5-7. I mean, they have a shot to make the playoffs. They can win 4 out of their last 5 games. They can make the playoffs, and I think it starts against the Ravens. And then I got the Bengals over the Browns. Deshaun Watson looked like he misses the massage parlor. So I got the Bengals. And I like the Bengals secondary too. I think that they tear him apart. And the Titans over Jaguars. I think I hate doing division games like I did. Pretty much every single one of these was a division game. But Titans over Jaguars. I think they bounce back. Jaguars are I think they get destroyed by Derrick Henry. He's gonna be pissed off. And that will pay out $10. You'll win $84.60.
There you go. All right, so I went the route of Kyle. I got a little same game parlay going for tonight's action also. And then I got another little bonus pick for you here. I texted it to you guys earlier. So FanDuel threw me a free $5 bet. I'm throwing an extra 10 on top of it. We got $15 invested total. I got the Rams covering +6.5. I just don't trust this Raiders offense. And as heavy as they lean on Josh Jacobs, I just feel like they're not going to put up enough points to cover that 6.5 point spread. It's just too big of a spread for this Raiders team. Devontae Adams, anytime touchdown scorer. I think that's just a solid bet. I know Ike Reese was on that train also on the afternoon show, WIP. And I got a pretty easy one here. Harking back to the Eagles of yesteryear. I got Mac Hollins to go for 25 receiving yards. It's just easy. I mean, it's -400 for that individually. A couple of catches and you're there. And I also, like Kyle, I have Josh Jacobs to go for 60+ yards for the reasons that he mentioned. I got $15 on it to win 89.25.
I'd be worried about that +6.5. I mean, they don't even know who's starting quarterback, and it could be Baker Mayfield.
Baker the
He's
touchdown.
been there for 2 days, and I mean, he's been in the system for years, and he sucked. So imagine going to this offense with absolutely no weapons right now.
No, and I get that, but at the end of the day, I just don't trust this Raiders offense and the Rams defense, though it's not what it used to be because it doesn't have the offensive support behind
Is
it.
Donald playing tonight? Because I know he was out
out.
last week. So, big one.
They still have some weapons on that defensive side of the ball. I'm sorry, but
And so Jalen Ramsey, because that guy blows.
Yep.
So overrated.
Talk to him.
oh,
Got to LA and got Hollywood. Should have stayed in Jacksonville and worked his ass off.
Talk to him.
Went Hollywood and hasn't been the same since. Even when they were winning the Super Bowl, he was the main corner getting burnt. He's not that good. Devontae's going off and good because I have him in my fantasy. Now he'll get 5 yards. So sorry, Devontae fans. I just screwed him. Ramsey will
they
have.
just screwed me too because I had him in the parlay.
Nah, he gets fucking 37 targets a game. He'll be all right.
Devontae and Josh Jacobs, that's their whole offense.
Yep.
I don't know. I feel pretty good about that +6.5. Just saying. All right, you guys ready to preview the New York Giants?
Yes, sir.
Jersey Giants.
Yeah, literally. The Meadowlands Giants.
Swamp.
All right.
Rats.
Let's start it off here. So obviously Eagles, Giants. Giants somehow are still in a playoff position. I have no idea how. If the season ended today, there would be all 4 NFC East teams in the playoffs. Absolutely crazy. Giants are also coming off of a tie against the Washington Commies last week. Brian Daboll continues to show that he's somehow a wizard. I think anybody that proves capable of winning games with Danny Dimes, or Danny Nichols, as I call him, at quarterback, I think they're certified wizardry. But they're the Giants, and I'm not scared of them. And I've said it all season long. They're paper tigers. I see no reason why the Eagles don't roll here. I know it's a division game. I know it's going to be tighter than maybe you might think looking at both teams on paper. But I just don't see the Giants coming away with this one. I feel fairly confident in my Eagles. We'll get to score predictions a little bit later, but just wanted to voice my confidence in my boys here going into this weekend. Kyle, what's your overall feeling going into the game?
So I think this game's going to be a really ugly game. I think it's going to be a typical NFC East game. I think you're going to see a similar path to the Colts game. Not saying that the Eagles are going to trail double digits going into the fourth. I just think it's going to be lower scoring, rough. I mean, that's how the Giants have thrived all year. But then from a schematic standpoint, right? Like, it should be another game that favors the pass more than the run for the offense for the Eagles. They should have no problem versus the receivers for the Giants. I mean, they're just decimated by, injuries. Kenny Golladay just, fell off the face of an earth. But it's one of those games where, like, the Eagles outmatch them by, like, almost every position, but yet somehow the Giants will probably just stay competitive. And I know we're not giving the score predictions quite yet, but +7, I mean, it's probably going to be a 3-point game. I don't see the Eagles covering a 7-point spread.
Oh, he doesn't think they cover. Uh-oh.
I was
Jake.
thinking all day about this segment because we're on a Thursday, so we're really looking ahead, getting past the big win. And it's hard to blow anybody out in the NFL at all. So doing it 2 weeks in a row is tough. But, I mean, looking at this Giants team, they're on, like, the downtrend.
Mm-hmm.
I think they are 4 or what is it? 3. What do they have? 3 out of 4 wins or something. I don't know. 4 out of their last 5 games they didn't win, I think. So what is it? 3 losses, 1 tie, 1 win. And I just see that continuing. They give up a lot of yards rushing. They don't get to the quarterback. So I think we dominate again, both sides of the ball. Our defensive line, I feel, is going to destroy that offensive line. Saquon Barkley, I talked about earlier with Derrick Henry, how he was basically breaking tackles of his own offensive linemen before our linebackers even got to him, because that's how much we were pushing in the backfield. And Barkley does that every week. He's always bouncing off his own linemen. So against this rotation at defensive line, I feel like we kill him, but we have to stay home at defense end because Daniel Jones is sneaky fast.
Yeah.
That guy, I mean, he looks like
He doesn't look fast, but you just see him run by players.
He looks like one of the creative guy in Madden heads, like fucking default heads.
You know who looks like that? Is my buddy said I could never unsee it. It was Trevor Lawrence. He looks like such a creative player in Madden, dude.
Christian Hackenberg was the worst. I swear.
While we're talking about Danny Nichols and his sneaky speed, I just want to let everybody know I will never be scared of a player that trips over the fucking 20-yard line.
Yeah, but I mean, you can't just pin your ears back and go, because
gotta keep
he's going to be a weapon and they're going to use it. But I just feel like if Nakobe Dean's starting, I think he's going to be all over that guy. I'm excited to see if he starts because he was fun to watch. Like I said,
I think he will, especially when you consider that Kaiser White's really been on the downward trend.
Yeah, he has
over the last couple of weeks.
You haven't heard his name for shit besides when he got hurt.
Nope, and you're starting to feel a lot better about him being a free agent at the end of the year.
Exactly. Sign T.J. Edwards, Gardner Johnson, and go from there.
Absolutely, and the emergence of Reed Blankenship also.
Yeah, been beautiful.
Yep.
Let's
hopefully you get Avonte Maddox back.
Blankenship though, he's had a good game or two, but it's still developing.
No, it's early and there's no tape on him yet, but you're starting to see
he's in the positions he needs to be in. So that means he's listening to his coaches. He's willing to learn, and he's doing what he's told. And as an undrafted rookie, that's what you got to do to make a team. And he's doing it perfectly right now. I mean, obviously he's going to miss some plays, but it'll be interesting to see if Maddox plays. Because the Eagles, most teams, when they open up the practice window for their injured reserve, they'll wait a couple weeks. The Eagles usually, if they take you off the injured reserve like they did with Jordan Davis, you're playing that week. So it'll be interesting to see if Maddox plays. He's a huge upgrade over Josiah Scott. Scott, not the worst player. He's a good fill-in guy. He's just not the level of Avonte Maddox. So it'd be nice to have all three of our corners back, which has also helped Blankenship look even better.
Absolutely. I'm looking for a couple of turnovers here also.
Mm-hmm.
I think Danny Nichols is a guy that you can really take advantage of in the passing game. I think he's somebody that a veteran corner like Bradbury, who knows him very well, and Slay can bait fairly easily.
Another revenge game.
Oh yeah,
absolutely. Eagles are undefeated in revenge games this year. Just saying.
Yep.
Absolutely. You guys got anything else on the Giants game?
I expect we went run, dominate the run against the Packers, passing against the Titans. I think this week we get a good mix of both because you can throw it against this Giants defense and you can run it. But expecting a big game from Kyle's boy, Miles Sanders.
Oh, man.
I like it. All right. Kyle, you got anything else on this game?
No, sir.
All right. Let's go over to our final score predictions powered by our friends at Lugaroo and Row 1. Make sure you check out Lugaroo for all your custom clothing needs and check out Row 1 for some awesome sports artwork. Make sure you let them know that we sent you over there at Row 1 and Lugaroo. Final score predictions. Kyle started off. I know you think it's a backdoor cover by the Giants.
I do. I got 2016. I think it's going to be a close game throughout. Eagles pull away early in the fourth, and then we get a nice little garbage time touchdown at the end for the Giants to cover.
All right, backdoor cover. Jake, what do you got?
I'm going to say 30-20 Eagles. Pretty easy. I think we dominate the first half, and the Giants try to creep back in, and then we make a big play on defense and just grind it out at the end. Offensive line comes in pissed off from those penalties, going in and watching that film, getting ripped apart by Stoutland. I think they come out as hungry dogs. I heard Kelsey say on Brandon Graham said on WIP earlier this week, might have to break out the underdog mask after ESPN's throwing out their bullshit chances to win the Super Bowl, and they got the Cowboys as a double or triple chances of the Eagles to win the Super Bowl. So,
absolutely.
ESPN, go Birds. 30-20.
So I got the Eagles 31 to the Giants. See, I don't know how confident I am in their offense. I'm going to go Eagles 31, Giants
13.
17. 31-17 Eagles. All right, guys. I think that's all we got for you here tonight. Appreciate everybody rocking with us here live tonight, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube Live, everybody over on the audio side. Don't forget to check out all our awesome sponsors. Links down in the description below. And don't forget to check out all the other awesome shows and articles available to you on oldcitysports.com. Appreciate everybody. We'll catch you back here next week. Go Birds!